Anton Chekhov, who was born on 1860 and died in 1904, was a Russian dramatist and a short story writer. He had studied medicine at Moscow and later combined his studies with writing short stories when his first book of stories became successful. His works portray upper-class life in pre-revolutionary Russia. He was in the times of wars like the Crimean and the Russo-Japanese War, which made the people live with no great hopes and struggle with modern economy. Anton Chekhov has an attitude as he claims that he hates violence and lies of any kind. His stories are often open-ended, as he often writes stories about predicament of little man in this modern, materialized world. About Love is a story that discusses various scenes in different kinds of relationships and the societal perceptions that shape them. However, the major idea of the lesson contrasts love as a universal emotion, unbound and conditioned by the norms that govern social beings. The chapter sketches love as the most mysterious of all emotions. This is Pavel Konstantinovich, addressed throughout as Alyohin. Around his life, the whole story revolves. His affair with Anna Alexeyevna foundations the core of the story. As the beginning of the story marks, Alyohin is a prosperous man now, and has invited his friends Ivan Ivanovich and Birkin over for breakfast. They're having a very good time, with delicious meals served. There enters the cook. Nicanor, the cook, was a man of medium height, his puffy face clean-shaven with small eyes. He had a violent temper. According to Alyohin, Pelagia, who was a very beautiful girl and worked in the hotel, was in love with this drunk man, but didn't will to marry him. Nicanor would often scold Pelagia, swear at her, and even beat her. And sometimes Alyohin would have to rush to the scene to defend Pelagia. The story of Nicanor and Pelagia contrasts the relationship, or love, that is based on the fulfillment of personal and physical desires, valued by the low economic class in the story. This kind of relationship searches materialistic or economic availability. Pelagia was a beautiful young lady, but she preferred to love Nicanor to fulfill her economic or materialistic requirements. Then the story shifted towards Alyohin's life accounts. According to Alyohin, love is embellished with flowers and night angles. It is a topic that writers and artists have cherished for ages. It is a lofty emotion that grafts one's heart with warmth. But again, it is strange. It is a mystery that doesn't obey any condition, any religion. Once it works, it is perceived accordingly and is shaped through the conception of its yielder. Before, Alyohin was a student, and he lived in Moscow with his girlfriend, who always thought about what he'd provide for housekeeping and argued about the price of beef. But later, Alyohin realized that this materialistic love was not true and could not go on. This love relationship portrays a situation where love is symbolized to be materialistic in nature, that demands one of these sides to fulfill the materialistic desires of the other person. It is quite selfish. But the emotions of the person is governed by his or her socio-economic background, somewhat bringing forth a situation of being compelled to do so. Alyohin wanted to tell the two his story. Well, he had been living in Sofino, and even when he had his degree in law, he was forced to work in the fields, for his estate had been mortgaged and his father was highly in debt. He had been elected the honorary justice of peace, but he had to work very hard in the fields, till the point that he didn't even leave any inch of earth unturned. He pulled all the peasants, men and women, from the neighboring villages as well. He would be very tired and had no time to indulge in luxury. So, sitting in neat courtrooms with tidy formal coats during court sessions was such a luxury for him. Later, when Aljohin was to handle a case of arson, he met Luganovich, who was the assistant president of the circuit court. He was an amiable and charming person. One day he invited Aljohin for dinner. And there was where he met Anna Alexeyevna, who was Luganovich's wife. She was a smart young woman of 22 who had her first baby just 6 months ago. Aljohin instantly got attracted to this beautiful woman who was kind, beautiful, and intelligent. For Aljohin, she was the most fascinating woman that had ever come across to him. Her eyes strikingly caught his attention. The couple made him eat as much as he could. They were very generous, and most importantly, they were glad to have a guest. After dinner, they even played a duet on the piano, and later Aljohin drove back home. As the Luganoviches and Aljohin grew closer, the Luganoviches would provide him with stuffs like studs, cigarettes, and lamps, and were always ready to help him economically. They were very unhappy for Aljohin, as he had no good a job for what he deserved for his degree. Later, Aljohin would return fowls, butter, and flowers as gift to the Luganoviches. But behind this, Aljohin and Anna consecutively got closer to each other, and often spent their time together. They would even go to the theaters together, and sit with their shoulders touching each other's. But as time grew ripe, Anna did realize that things would never work out the way they wished. By now, Anna had already had her second child, another baby girl, and she grew depressed. She was occupied with discontent and her disability to provide Aljohin with herself. Anna seemed bothered and started displaying an odd irritation towards Aljohin. Anna was by now being treated for nervous prostration. She was unsatisfied, distressed, and depressed. As the doctors examined her, they told her that she had to part for Crimea, where she could get a peaceful environment. It was time Anna left for Crimea. Soon, Luganovich sold their property, as he too had to leave for the western provinces. By the end of August, Anna had to be seen off to Crimea. After she said her goodbyes to her husband and children, she left for the train. But Aljohin had intentionally forgotten to keep a basket, so he went into the compartment to place the basket. And their eyes met. Their hearts connected instantly. The spiritual strength of the two broke, and there Anna rested herself in Aljohin's bosom, tears gently rolling down from the eyes of the two. It would be a farewell that would cost the two all the strengths they could summon. Aljohin left Anna and went to another compartment, where he stayed crying until the next station arrived. Aljohin got down at the next station and walked home to Sofino, and the two parted forever. The love relationship between Anna and Elyohin sketches idealism that concerns no selfishness. The beauty in their relationship is conveyed by the aspects that bring forth the subtlety of deeds that in fact hold happiness and care for each other. However, they remain concerned about the other person's contentment. Later, Anna had to suffer from depression because she became helpless, conditioned by her disability to fulfill the situational matter of love. An emotional breakthrough ruptured the stability of the concerned character, and she had to part. Thus, as the climax concerns, the modern and societal values could not overpower the emotional values, and the characters had to get over their emotions. Meanwhile, Elyohin is a busy person who is as well referred to a squirrel in a cage when he is rushing around his huge estate rather than getting a good job. But there lie mysteries in the minds of people, lovers and commoners, that is forever to be sought for. The mystery about love.